It just
Welcome everybody to Zone 4 as we're talking as it goes live. This is May the Z4 be with you. It is a Zone 4 special. We were originally going to have a Zone 4 episode this week, but schedules conflicted and everything.
Yoda stole our members.
Exactly. So we're pushing that back a week. We'll have Zone 4 next week right here. We're going to do a live show for that as well. But Chris and I decided for an hour, we're going to join you and talk about Star Wars and some stuff because there's a few things buzzing around Star Wars. I don't really know what they are. Just a few little tidbits here and there we thought we would bring up. I mean, it's nothing big, I'm sure. Right, Chris?
Right. I'm just making sure we're live on YouTube. And we are, and I'm going to be keeping an eye on the comments. So if anybody would like to comment, I'll be watching. And I make sure
we'll be watching you.
So I've got the comments up now. Everything's good. I'm good on my end. So, Brant, what are we going to start the show off with tonight for the 1 hour long Z4 section?
And as we start, people are walking in and the dogs are starting to bark.
Yes! Lisa, seriously, do a serious podcast here. We don't have time for your silly dog barking entrance.
All right, so we are starting off with the most obvious. I mean, Star Wars Celebration is going on. This new trailer for Star Wars just came out, and we both gotten a chance to watch it, obviously, and we wanted to talk about that. You know, the new trailer for The Force Awakens, which comes out this December. We're really excited about it. We're both big Star Wars fans. And the trailer was awesome, man. I mean, the first teasers we got were pretty cool, but they didn't show us a lot, and we wanted to see that full trailer. And now we've got this, and it was just I don't know. It had that classic Star Wars epic feel to me.
But it felt so different. And you know what I did laugh at though? The Black Stormtrooper that everybody said, what was up with that? He just popped in for one scene. Did you notice in the trailer they did the same thing again? We still have no clue who he is. He popped in again with the helmet coming off, and then somebody reached for him and picked him up, but we have no clue who this person is still. I'll make you bet it's Lando's son.
Ah, yeah, that's quite possible. I didn't even think about that.
Lando has a son.
Yeah, he's definitely got to be on the Rebels side, though, so he was definitely in disguise or whatever. That's pretty obvious, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, just so cool in the last shot of Han and Chewie coming in and saying, "We're home." Yeah, that was awesome, man.
I love how Han Solo got super old, but Chewie looks exactly like he did in the last episode. So it's like, dude, what the hell happened to you? I don't know about you, but I still look good.
Yeah, they couldn't afford a new suit. They just used dry clean the old one.
I wonder if that makes him a little like, gee, thanks for making at least him look older too.
No, actually, I think they probably have more longevity. I don't know anything about their. I don't know anything about their.
Don't say anything about them. Wookiees. I don't see you get mauled by one again.
I know, right? New Comic Day, I always got mauled by the Wookiees. It was just because Life Day was boring. That's all.
You're looking to get it again, aren't you? Star Wars is just now coming back. You're looking to get it again.
Did you ever watch Life Day, the TV special?
I know there was a special for an hour where this kid jumped in and out of the Star Wars movie. It was like it was something that was on TV, I think.
I don't know, but this Life Day special was so boring, dude.
And yet you found Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles live more interesting?
I was a kid. I don't know.
Oh God! Sure, you let them sing about pizza, but because Life Day had nothing to do with pizza, it's like, nah, screw that.
I don't know. Anyway, maybe the Wookiees have more longevity because if you remember seeing the Wookiees in like the prequels,
same.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe that's why. But either way, it's just cool to see them. I think it's awesome, and just that tease of the Force is strong with my family. My father has it. I have it. My sister has it. All that stuff. I'm so pumped for this movie. Huh?
He has to be talking to his daughter. Has to be. That girl is his daughter.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. which is awesome. I'm so excited for this. And I don't know if you got to see it, but during the Star Wars Celebration, I saw a clip of this. They put they had the what was it, BB-8, whatever that new droid is that rolls.
On the rolls, I saw it.
Yeah, they had it actually come out on stage, not CGI or anything. The actual thing was rolling around on stage. I thought that was awesome.
That is awesome. No, Mark Hamill, when he gave that whole intro speech, oh my God, it was so classic Star Wars. It was so good. It was like, oh my God, can we have this now? Because I'm excited, and I love how the sister, they showed Leia getting the lightsaber, and they don't show who he's talking to, but it's obvious he's talking to his child. And I love, how about the Darth Vader mask?
Oh,
Burnt, because obviously he died on the was it the new it was the new Death Star. He died on the new Death Star.
Right.
And obviously he burned because Luke had to leave him behind. Oh no, Luke didn't leave him behind. He burnt him on the planet, remember?
Yeah.
So obviously that's the charred up remains of the helmet. So that was wow.
Yeah. I'm just, man, it's like Star Wars for a completely new generation. You know, it's like the prequels were Star Wars for that generation, and then now we've got it for a new generation, but it's harkening back to the classic ones.
And the classic ones are for like our grandparents.
Yeah. They're not quite that old.
No, not really my parents. I would say my parents.
Yeah. Parents. Yeah. I was born the year the first one came out. So
yeah, no, I would say my parents then, because me and you aren't that far apart.
Right.
So yeah, my parents' age around. Yeah, my mom was around when Star Wars 6 came out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Parents, me with the prequels, and now all of us with the new 3.
Yeah.
And hopefully it's only 3.
It's not going to be only 3, dude. They're doing the in-betweens, remember? The solo movies?
Well, I can live with that. I mean, only 3 more episodes, like episodes. But I doubt that's going to happen with Disney.
Yeah, no, I think what'll probably happen is they'll do these 3, and then they'll take a couple of years, 2 or 3 years, and then do another 3 or whatever. You know, it's Star Wars. They're always going to come back. I mean, as long as it's
as long as they kill off or funeral off all the original characters like Luke, Han, Leia. We can recycle, but
it's possible some of them might actually be dead by the next trilogy. You never know. Don't be dead.
I don't want to think about that. If Mark Hamill dies, I don't want to think about Mark Hamill.
I was thinking more about Harrison Ford.
I don't think Harrison Ford either.
Come on, plane crash, breaking his ankle. The dude is just injury prone now.
God really wants a Han Solo at his side, but he has to wait. Then God can have him.
That Millennium Falcon in the sky.
Oh, the X-Wings. Them X-Wings. Oh.
Yeah.
What did you like when they were on Tatooine and you saw the destroyed Star Cruiser and not the Death Star, it was TIE Fighters, I think it was, when they were in the desert and you see that gigantic destroyed. Oh, man, that was so cool.
Yeah, and it's the remnants of those original movies, and you're just seeing it unfold like that. It's just, I'm so excited for this. December cannot come fast enough just to see this movie. Yeah. We do have one viewer, by the way. I just wanted to mention. Thanks for watching. Oh, it's you. Hi, Chris. Thanks for watching, man.
You're welcome.
I appreciate it.
Comments.
I'm not thinking. Yeah, you're right. It'd be funny if we had 2 viewers and I didn't realize I had it open in another window or something.
Zone 4, everybody. Or I'm sorry, this is the light version of Zone 4. So Z4, everybody. Yeah. Whoever's listening to this on iTunes right now, you probably think we're bloody idiots. But seriously, when it comes to iTunes, at least we know people will be downloading this episode instead of watching us on YouTube.
Yeah. Z4, like G4, only we're still around.
Watch, one day Z4 will have its own cable channel. I will be so happy because Brant will give me like 3 shows.
Attack of the Chris.
Attack of the Chris hour. No, Attack of the Chris hour and a half because every show will be like a half hour long.
And it'll start 20 minutes late.
Well, at
least both of us.
That's what the hour and a half is for.
That's what we both do that. We all do that on Frontline. We're always 20 minutes late or something.
I think the world would be in shock if we ever came on a live show exactly at 9.
Oh, we have 2 viewers, man. And do I have it open in the window? I do not. So we actually have a legit viewer now. So thank you for watching. Hey, how are you? Leave a comment below and we'll answer it or whatever.
So I will say this, though, because we're not going to talk about this. Can I talk about the next subject? Because I can breeze through it really quickly. The other trailer for Star Wars.
Yeah.
Okay, I did. Brant texted me at work today about this, and it slipped my mind completely that today Battlefront's trailer was going to go up, along with the release date.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to be spending a nice amount of time or picking apart this trailer as it. I don't know if we'll do we'll play it and we'll talk about it as it's playing, or we'll just talk about it piece by piece. I will say this, though. I have Battlefront 1 and 2. This new game, this game right here, is going to blow all of that graphically, and just it looks. I don't know. We don't even know what the story is yet, but this game looks like it's going to be one of the biggest Star Wars games that have come out in a long time. And Rogue Squadron is definitely up there as one of my top favorite games. The trilogy. There was one for the Nintendo 64, and the last 2 were on the GameCube. Unfortunately, we don't have the 64 anymore, so I can't play the original. I wish that Nintendo would put the download for the Rogue. Maybe they will now that the Star Wars is coming out again. But I would die. I would pay the money to re-download Star Wars on my Wii U, the Rogue Squadron trilogy.
I have an N64. You could send it to me.
You cannot have it. I actually, and I'm not joking here. I'm going to get up. I'm going to grab it off my shelf. This is my favorite game. I have it displayed on my shelf.
Nice.
The original Rogue Squadron. This is in look how clean it is. It's nearly mint condition. The only thing that breaks the mint condition is the scratch on the sticker in the back, and that's from putting it in the 64. There's nothing you can do about that. But underneath everything, it's like a brand new game. The only thing that's a little bit worn is the sticker. You know, stickers turn yellow after a while. You can't do anything really about that.
So Chris is going to mail me that game so I can play it on my N64 that's in the closet. And
if you give me about $500,
$500.
I'll let you borrow it.
Uh-huh.
This is my favorite game. Even if I can't play it, I will always hold on to this game.
No, that's cool. I'm pretty sure that's the one I have played. I don't think I played in either of the ones on the GameCube, but I know I played one of them, so it had to be that one.
First one, this one is just the X-Wings, Y-Wings, A-Wings, the stuff in the sky. The second one, I believe it's the same formula, except they changed it up a bit. And then the third one, you could actually do some missions where you're walking. And I think that's what kind of killed the Rogue Squadron franchise, because even though it was Rogue Squadron, the point was to be piloting a blank, not running around with the lightsaber, because there was one where you're in the 7th episode and you're on Hoth and you're Luke and you're swinging your lightsaber around and you're shooting your thing up and lightsabering the walker so they fall. It's like it ruined the effect of Star Wars. It was about being in the vehicles, not running around like Luke. That's a different game. You could have called it something different and kept the Rogue Squadron feel. There was another game for Star Wars 1 that was like Rogue Squadron, but I can't remember the name of it, but I do have it.
Cool. I mean, like you said, we're going to be talking about this trailer in depth on Hit Points, which it's the week after next, or is it next week?
No, week after next. Next week is Holo Toys. You're right.
Well, next week is Zone 4 now. So we'll be shifting everything. So we'll figure it out. But
Holo Toys is always on Wednesday anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Just as far as iTunes is I don't think we're doing Holo Toys on iTunes right now.
No. So Hit Points will be the week after next. You're right. So yeah. So tune in for that. We'll be talking all about it. The release date is November 17th. I'll put that out there, and we'll be talking about the free DLC that we'll be able to play in December as well. So tune into the Hit Points in a couple weeks for all the details on that. But that trailer looked absolutely amazing. At first, when it started playing, I wasn't sure if it was another thing for the movie, or it was so realistic, man. And some of the, I don't know if you got to know because you were at work during Celebration today. They were giving away PS4s, Star Wars branded PS4s to some of the people in the crowd, and so like three of them won that with a code to go ahead and download Battlefront and everything. So it was pretty cool.
Unfortunately, we couldn't be there.
Yeah. So before we get into some comics, I wanted to mention something I didn't tell you about, which was I know you've never seen the TV show Entourage.
No.
It was an HBO show. This website called Toasty.tv, they do parody stuff. They did a parody trailer of Entourage meeting Star Wars, and they called it Startourage. And
oh wow!
Yeah, basically in Entourage, it centers around an actor that's like super popular, and it's him and his entourage, and him making movies and all this stuff. Anyway, so they used those characters, different actors, but they used those characters as if they were supposed to be filming Star Wars.
Oh wow!
And how they were totally screwing it all up, and it was pretty funny. It's on Comic Related if anybody wants to check it out. I just had to mention it. So Marvel announced 2 new Star Wars comics that are coming out. I'm sure they'll be in solicitations, which are probably coming out next week. So we already know that they have, let's see what they have. They have Star Wars, Darth Vader, the Princess Leia miniseries, and Kanan the Last Padawan. That's a miniseries too, right?
I don't know if that's a miniseries, but I know Leia's ending. Yeah, I think the Padawan one also is a miniseries. Okay. My knowledge.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Lando is an ongoing, but I'm not 100% sure of that. So don't quote me.
I don't think any of them really, other than Darth Vader, have the real strength to hold as an ongoing. I think Lando maybe, but the next, well, when you announce it, I'll talk. But Lando might. Lando actually might have a good possibility, especially because they're going to want to flesh out his son from the movie.
Yeah. So Lando, let me see. I've got it pulled up here. Find it again. Lando is obviously centered around Lando Calrissian, and it's before Cloud City, before his glorious Death Star run. Lando Calrissian was just a man trying to make his way through an uncaring universe, determined not to recognize that he was undeniably the coolest man in the galaxy. But Lando's got a plan to change all that, and it starts with the deal of a lifetime. So basically, it's Lando's origin story, more or less. So, I don't know. It's kind of interesting. I kind of like it. It's also looks like it's going to have Mace Windu, who is Samuel Jackson from the prequel movies, his character in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. It's kind of interesting, and it's written by Charles Soule, who I love his writing most of the time. So I think I'll check it out at least.
I'll give this series a check out, but probably it'll be digitally more than physically. Gotcha.
And the other one, the other series is, Shattered Empire. It's Star Wars Journey to the Force Awakens, Shattered Empire. And it's they're marketing it as an all-new Marvel Comics event series. It comes out in September, and it ties into the movie. And it's written by Greg Rucka, who's a fantastic writer. And it's what happened during the fall of the Empire right after Return of the Jedi. And that's kind of where this series picks up.
It's the bridging of the gap, basically, then between episodes 6 and 7. No, not 6 and 7. Between 8, 3, 6. Yeah, I'm right. 6 and 7.
Yeah, 6 and 7. Right. Yeah. So the end of the original movies.
So I was wrong.
The beginning of the new ones.
When I said Hoth, I didn't mean episode 6. I meant episode 5.
5. I know. Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
Which is the best Star Wars movie of them all.
I enjoyed all of the last 3 for what they were worth. The first 3, however, had their nice moments, but I still don't get how Anakin Skywalker, one day he's a little boy, the next day he's a man. Yet, the girl stayed the same age. I don't understand how that's possible. I really don't understand it. It's like she didn't even grow up, but he did for some reason.
Yeah.
Paradox, but okay, whatever. Hey, they had sex. They had twins.
That was the least of the problems with those prequel movies, but no, I totally agree. That was weird for me too. But But I actually liked Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith. I really liked Revenge of the Sith, but they don't compare to the originals. And for me, Empire Strikes Back was the absolute, pinnacle of the Star Wars franchise to date.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's pretty much, that's all the details we really have on this series. They announced the creative team. The artist is Marco Cicchetto.
Oh, I know who he is.
Yeah.
Okay, that's going to be a good for sure. I'm going to be reading Shattered Empire physically. That's going to be my other physical book.
Yeah.
Mike took over Darth Vader, so once Leia's done, I'll need something else, so I'll be grabbing that.
Yeah. So excited about those. I don't know when Lando comes out. I'm assuming it comes out in July, but I'm not.
Most likely, these things sound like July and August, or both in July.
Yeah. Well, this one's in September. This one.
Which one? Shattered Empire?
Yeah.
I was gonna say they're gonna have to do it right before the movie because they're not gonna want to bridge too much of a gap, and then the movie comes out and it's like, well, I know everything that's gonna be happening because I read the book.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's kind of cool the way they're doing this because the Battlefront ties into it too with that DLC I mentioned. Battlefront comes out in November. This comes out in September, and the movie comes out in December. So you got it lined up right there.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pretty cool. I don't know. I'm stoked.
I think if you pre-order the game in October, by the way, you get the beta.
Yeah, and you get the DLC a week early.
So there you go. You got from September all the way to December a setup.
Yeah. Exactly. So awesome, man. And did you get I didn't get a chance to watch it, but they put out a Lego trailer.
Oh, I didn't get to watch the Lego stuff.
I saw they did one for the first teaser trailer that we saw at the beginning of the year or whatever, which looked really cool. And I didn't get to watch this one, but I'm sure it was equally as cool because it's like scene for scene.
No,
with
I
the
didn't.
Trailer. Yeah.
I unfortunately didn't get to watch it.
Yeah, but it's out there if anybody wants to check it out.
We have some comments though if you'd like to.
Yeah, and then we'll go ahead and do that thing too. We'll give away a book.
All right, we're gonna start from the bottom and work our way up because again, this is Google and this is YouTube messing around with the comments. Okay, Jay started with Star Wars. Canon is an ongoing series. The Last Padawan is the title for the first arc.
Ah, gotcha.
And then I resemble that late comment, Brant. Or resent, did he mean?
No, he meant resemble.
Okay. Then Tevye actually wrote him back saying, question, what is your opinion of the newest Batman vs. Superman trailer? We're getting to that.
Yeah.
Question, guys, what is your guys' opinions on Convergence and how Convergence is next week?
Yeah, well, we're saving that. We're saving all Convergence talk for Zone 4 next week because that's what our whole show was based around, and we wanted to save that for when John and Mike are with us.
Yeah, and I'm going to stop here. There are other comments, but basically it's a conversation with the people in the comments, so I'm going to move over. Scotty Showman says, hey, happy Friday, Brant and Chris and everybody. Glad you enjoy the Star Wars news. And then Tevye asked another question. Guys, what is your guys' opinion on the newest Star Wars Battlefront trailer? Again, we're going to be talking about that on
Hit Points.
No, I'm just reading the rest. He's like, I don't trust EA with the project at all. FEA.
Really?
I trust EA. I trust EA I trust a lot of gaming companies. Now, if you were to put it in the hands of 646, the 343, that's different. 646, very good. 343, I would not trust it at all because I'm still questioning their Halo.
Yeah, I trust EA with Star Wars, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. I do also. I think that they're a strong enough company. I mean, if you looked at the trailer, it looked gorgeous. Mm-hmm. Now, Brant, you want to give away some books?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, first book will be from me, and it's going to be Darth Vader's latest issue. Issue number 4, so get your Marvel.com ready because the code is coming. It's fresh, hot off the sticker. Here you go.
Keep holding it there for a second because it's not focused. There you go.
Okay, there's your code. You can pause the video, get the comic, then come back. or you can pause it, get the code, and then come back and enjoy the rest of the show. Hit the live button and come back and listen to us live. But definitely don't save the code because somebody else out there is probably on Marvel trying to type that in as we speak.
Yep.
All right, so do we want to move off of... Oh, yes. Let's go to you, Brent. You have some codes also.
Yeah, I'll do the first one real quick. So I've got a Princess Leia issue. That is issue 1, right? Yeah, issue 1. I'm going to give that one away. So we'll put that up there.
Blurry.
Is it not focusing?
Not focusing at all.
How about I read it off? Because it's my camera's on the... It's not on autofocus.
Okay. So read it off, and everybody better be listening.
Or I'll tell you what. I'll full with my camera, and we'll just move on. So, and then I'll come back to it.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about that other wonderful trailer, Brad. Star Wars.
You want to start?
Oh, I can start this one? That's fine by me. I have a lot to say. All right, so recently there's been a leak trailer for the Batman Superman movie, and I think this is just plumb ridiculous that the world basically is looking to Superman as a savior now, and you got the people that are petrified of him, people that are worshiping him for help, and basically he's like a god now, and then there are the people that are against him, and Batman, a.k.a. Ben Affleck, Bruce Wayne, is against Superman. He doesn't believe Superman should be considered a god. He shouldn't, there was a news piece while the trailer was playing saying, is Superman doing what's best for us or what's best for him, or is he doing what he should be doing? And that's when they go to Batman, and obviously Batman is there to stop Superman because Superman is acting like a god instead of like a hero. And in this case, I can understand Batman's stance. And they showed the scene with him in the armor bat suit. And the one thing he does, there are a few words passed here and there, but the biggest line was the last line of the trailer, which was, "Do you bleed? Because I'm going to make you bleed."
Yeah. I think he said, or you will. Do you bleed?
Oh, I think it will
something like that. Yeah, you will bleed.
Along those lines, but I just don't like this. I don't like that DC Comics is going down a really, really dark movie setting. It doesn't feel comfortable for me, especially growing up in the 90s where DC Comics was considered the bright universe and Marvel was the dark universe. Now in the movie world, Marvel, while there is dark in it, I'm not going to lie, it's dark. It's bright, at least, at times. There's humor. There's fun. DC's movieverse is pulling a Marvel from the 90s. Everything is dark, and heroes are feared. Superman is thought to be a god. What? And Batman wants to kill him because I'm not...
If I can interject.
Go ahead. Yes, I want you to because I have no idea how to say.
In its defense.
Yes.
From the trailer, obviously that's kind of what it's pointing to. What we don't know is how Superman's handling all this. If he is accepting that role, or if he's not wanting to be thought of like that, and if he's wanting to just be normal. And I agree, Man of Steel is a dark toned movie. The Nolan Batman films were dark tone movies, and they seem to be carrying that tone into this. And yeah, the whole DC cinematic universe is very dark, and that's what a lot of people have a problem with. But that's just the direction they're taking with it. They have the TV stuff for the lighter stuff, which you can debate whether Arrow's light or not. But
Arrow is a nighttime show. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I totally agree with you. I appreciate the what they're taking from Dark Knight Returns. That they're going that route. I think it's a little early to go that route since you're doing this before the Justice League even exists. They're kind of doing it all backwards. But at least we're getting to see Batman and Superman on the screen together. And I want to try, because there's so much negative we've said about this movie, both on Zone 4 and Comic Frontline and so on and so forth, that at this point I'm so skeptical about the movie. I want to just try to wait and see the movie itself, and see even more footage, and kind of base it on that. And I know you and I differ on that, because you're not a big movie TV watcher anyway. So when you do watch it, you want it to be fantastic, and I get that. And I know you're a huge Superman fan.
I feel like in my mind, especially since as a kid I watched these, Christopher Reeves. And I know the fourth one was horrible, but we're going to still say all four, because as a kid, I watched all four multiple times. And as a kid, you don't think this was a shitty movie. You think, wow, Superman's beating up somebody who was made by a nuke. So as a kid growing up with the four Superman movies, all four, that is the mold that is in my mind. And that is the definition of a Superman movie. Those movies were great. They were spectacular. Granted, they weren't my time. Hell, the first Superman movie was way before I was born. I think the second one was when my brother was born in 1989. Or was it the third one that was 89? I don't even know. When was the first Superman? Was 1976, I think. Second one was 1984. Third one, I think, might have been 1989. And then the fourth one was in the...
No, I think they were all in the 80s.
I think I'm wrong.
Yeah. Except for the first one. The first one was definitely in the 70s.
Definitely 76. The second one was, I think, 80. Maybe if it was 80, 76, maybe it was 82.
Yeah, it was probably 82.
And then 89. Maybe the fourth one was 89. I know one of them was my brother's birth year.
No, it couldn't have been 89, because 89 was when the first Batman movie with Michael Keaton came out.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of, and I'm confused.
Probably.
Okay, but beside the point, that's the mold I have in my head growing up for a definitive Superman. And then Dean Cain, Lois and Clark, another bright series. So that's the TV version. Even Smallville had a bright kind of lighting to it. It wasn't dark.
Yeah, and I get that. I mean, that's your Superman, and I totally respect that. I get that. At the same time, Superman started losing popularity and everything because he was that do-gooder, bright, sunny kind of version.
That should never matter. That's peer pressure changing, but not the person being peer pressured. The writers and the company being peer pressured to change Superman because he's so unbelievable. And that hurts people like me who looked up to Superman the way he was and respected Superman the way he was, and the future generations that would have looked up to Superman the way he was and respected him. But now he's edgy. He's this, he's that. He's blowing people up and shooting and snapping. The next snap isn't even an issue, because a lot of people say it was justified because Zod killed the father, which didn't happen in the original movie, didn't happen in the books either. So in this, and he had no choice. What could he have done? There was no Phantom Zone. There was no way to put his hand out. I don't understand, but I guess he couldn't put his hand in front of his eyes because maybe it wouldn't have worked.
He would have never stopped. That's the point.
Exactly. So he had to stop him. There was no choice. So it's not even about the next snap. It's just the whole overall presentation of the new Superman that kind of screws it up.
Yeah, and I do. I completely understand that. I understand where you're coming from. I differ a little bit. I mean, I love Superman too, but I appreciate the different take on him. I liked the Man of Steel movie. I'm not saying he should be edgy, because I don't think him as a character is. I think the world around him is darker. And I think what the version we saw in Man of Steel was still a highly moral kind of character, but he's just surrounded by a much darker world than we're used to seeing Superman in. And I think that's where the problem comes in, really. But there's so much about about the Batman versus Superman and all the other movies coming after it that we've got issues with the whole Lex Luthor thing, all this stuff, and it's so much negative that right now I just want to just kind of stand back and just kind of put all that out of my mind and just wait and see at this point, because it's like I don't want to get myself even more skeptical and hesitant about it.
I'm sorry.
I know.
I would go off and watch the two Turtle movies by Michael Bay before going to see this Jesse Eisenberg, which they did show Jesse Eisenberg in this leaked trailer, as Lex Luthor.
Speaking of the leak, by the way, they did, because it leaked, they went ahead and released it officially. It came out this afternoon or evening. Yeah. It wasn't supposed to come out till Monday, but because it was leaked, they went ahead and did it. So it is out there without the subtitles and all that stuff for everybody to find.
Oh. Like you said, I'll have to wait and see. But to be honest, I mean, if the comic universe at least differed from the movie universe like they used to, I would feel like, okay, well, this is the movie. I could still read the comic books that I'm used to reading and not worry that the movie's going to influence the comics. But the comics are edgy too now. There's no escape. And Convergent Superman #1 last week, that was a Superman book. That was almost everybody's #1 book from last week. I think a few people had different #1s, but it was in almost everybody's top.
It was like 8 out of 18 for
yours
me.
Was Nightwing Oracle. I remember that.
Yeah.
It was #2, Superman, I think. 2 or 3.
Who, for me? No, he was 8.
He was 8?
Yeah.
Which one was?
He wasn't in my top 5. But I did really enjoy it. I enjoyed a lot of books. But
Right.
he was 8 out of 18, so I mean that's not bad at all.
No, not at all. I'm just saying though, that felt like Superman. The moments, the artwork, the dialogue, Lois and Clark, everything, that felt like Superman. And there's only one more part, and then we go back to this crap. Which apparently something's going to happen to Superman in the free comic book day book and screw him over even more.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's the funny thing is because these 2 trailers came out like right around the same time, the Batman vs Superman and the Star Wars one. The Star Wars one just totally overshadowed it.
Yes.
It was like everybody was like, "Oh, Batman vs Superman." Then it was like, "Oh, Star Wars." Wait, there was a Batman Superman?
Yeah, exactly. Because Star Wars at least looks good.
Yeah, exactly.
They're not making it dark or light or anything. It's following the same tone that it's followed since the 70s or 60s, whenever it started to come out.
70s. What did you think about Batman's eyes lighting up? Like he seems much more tech.
Hey, look, it's Iron Batman.
Yeah,
that's what I said when I saw that.
That's what I thought.
Look, it's Iron Batman.
Yeah, I was not happy about that.
I'm still not happy about a lot of things in the movieverse. I'll watch it. I'll tell you the truth. I'll watch it when the DVDs get discounted or if I can find a Blu-ray, because there is no way I'm going to pay full price for this garbage right now that's coming out of these movieverse. The only reason I bought that collector's edition Superman thing is because I love that S. That S definitely looks nice. So the fact that it's the tin S, that is the only selling point for that. The reason why I got that version of Man of Steel. Have
you actually watched it yet?
I watched it once. I told you. Now I'm waiting to do the 5 before I
couldn't remember. Yeah.
I didn't watch the Turtles yet. That I'm waiting for a live show for. Even though I know I should watch it first to get all the out, I'm gonna wait. I've seen enough clips to have gotten most of my out.
There are all kinds of noises going on outside my door.
what people do in their sex lives.
Hey, now. There's dogs and suitcases and stuff. Anyway.
That is the worst. Go ahead, try the code, please.
Yeah, I'm going to try the code.
Don't ship them to Abu Dhabi.
I think I turned off the focus, so tell me if it works
now.
There we go.
It's good. A little lower. That's good. Now stop. Let it focus. Too low. There you go.
There
Good.
we go. All right.
So I guess pause the video.
Yeah. Sorry about that, folks. So.
But
all right.
I'm going
to go ahead and. Oh, go ahead. What?
No, I was just going to say I'm going to wait, and then I'm going to see it, and I'm going to judge it by whatever standard that whatever happens, If it's a good movie for what it's worth, I'll say it was like Man of Steel was a good movie for what it's worth. Is that my definitive Superman? Absolutely not. Is the New 52 Superman my definitive Superman? Absolutely not. But I will say the movie was done nice. It was just in a dark world, but it was a good movie. Not a bad movie, but it was a good movie. Not the Superman. I would defer back to the 90s Superman and Christopher Reeves as my #1. But it's still a good movie, Man of Steel. It is. It's very different.
Yeah. No, I get that. So, I mean, it's, it is what it is. And I think we both agree that no matter how good it would be, it's still not as good as the Marvel movies.
Absolutely not. I think DC has a long way to go before they even come close. Even with the Batman movies, they have a long way to go before they can come close to the Avengers. They've got till 2020 in line, and they did the new Avengers. And I told you last night, the Defenders are going to show up in Avengers Infinity Part 2. So if anybody didn't know that, Daredevil will be in Part 2 of the Avengers movie, which I think is freaking awesome.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we'll definitely be talking about Daredevil on Zone 4 next week as well. I've only have one episode left to watch. John and Micah watched them all. Chris,
I only watched one so far, but the good news is I'm watching it, and it's spectacular. Oh my God! If you didn't watch it yet, from the premiere alone, I want to watch the rest of the series because it's amazing.
Yeah, and it just gets better and better, man. I can't wait till you see the rest of it. I really can't.
I'm going to try my best. Speaking of which, let's talk about another code. I got Hawkeye.
All right, go for it.
So let's go Hawkeye issue number 2. It's the all-new Hawkeye. I'm sorry. Issue number 2. If you didn't read issue number 1, I would recommend it, but here's issue number 2. Stickers off. Focus goes on. And pause the video. Try your luck. Enjoy Hawkeye issue number 2. Okay. So let's move on to something else.
All right. What else do we have to talk about? Do we have any more comments?
Oh, yes. I'll check for that right now.
All right, cool.
We were going to talk a little bit. Okay, here we go. Jay. Here we go. I love it. Oh, wait.
Must be about the Superman.
Updated itself. I hate you. I hate you. Hate you, stupid thing. Okay. Now, Jay says the next snap wasn't necessary. Zack Snyder wanted it. He didn't think there was any other reason why Superman didn't want to kill anymore. So I guess in his mind, somebody must kill before they are against it. Again, Jay, you know how I feel, but again, this is not my definitive Superman. I'm just giving the reason Brant's been drilling in my head for years that he had no other choice. There was no Phantom Zone, and he wasn't going to stop. So
I'm saying, regardless of any director influence or whatever, I'm saying within the context of the movie, you can make it make sense by that justification. And I know Jay's never going to agree with that. That's fine. That's my take on it. I see it that way, and that's the way I can enjoy it and accept it. So
the way I accept it is, eventually this is all going to go away. In about 20 years, it's all going to be different again. Tim Marston, awesome phone is about to die. At least I have something to watch when I get home. Awesome, Tim. Hope you enjoy it.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
The newest Star Wars, this is Jay, newest Star Wars series, Lego Star Wars Droid Tales, which will explore all 6 episodes plus some in 5 parts. Part 1 is episode 1 and 2. Part 2 is 3 in the Clone Wars. Part 3 is 4 in Rebels. 4 is 5, and 5 is 6.
Okay. That's weird, but awesome.
I agree. Scotty Showman, question. I'm a very casual Star Wars fan, so I'm curious. Is the general consensus, I need to drink, among Star Wars fans that the movie coming out in December should have came out when the prequels did? Or do you think it's good the prequels came out because it makes everyone want to see the new Star Wars movie even more? I think it was good they got the 3 movies that were the beginning out of the way. I like how George Lucas gave us the last 3, or the quoted last 3 first, because that was a really good series that was told fantastic in its time. The first 3 episodes, I'm glad they did like in the 2000s, because the special effects were so much better. It worked better, especially during the Clone Wars. We got to see Yoda younger, and we didn't have to deal with a Muppet because CGI. And we got to hate a new character, Jar Jar Binks. So, and we got a lot more background on Boba Fett. The only characters we didn't see were the ones from the first trilogy, like Han Solo. We got nothing on him at all until episode 4. So I think it's better they got the first 6 out of the way, because now it's just fresh slate. What about you, Brent?
I think that's a tough question, because I think what he's I gotta turn this autofocus off now. There on. It's like my camera's like going in and out now. Sorry about that. But I think what he's asking is if it would have been better to go to 7 and just skip the prequels. But I think if Phantom Menace wasn't in those, I don't think anybody would have as many problems as they do. Phantom Menace was just a bad movie. Uh, Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith, I don't think were that bad. General consensus wise, I don't think they were nearly as reviled as Phantom Menace was. So that just kind of sent it on this spiral thing going on. But no, I agree with you. I think it was good to get the prequels because now we have this basis for all. I don't think we would get to Episode 7 without those prequels existing, because in our minds it was that original trilogy. Star Wars was done. We had the books, we had the comics and all that stuff, but as far as films go, they were done. I don't think there was any plans to go here. So I could be wrong. I don't know all the details. I'm not a super. I mean, I love Star Wars and I watched it dozens of times, but
I agree. I was a casual fan when the first episode 1 through 3 came out. When episodes 6 or 4 through 6 came out, I was a kid, and of course I was a little bit older. My mom had a lot of really popular movies that she had taped throughout the years. So I watched Star Wars. I had watched a lot of movies from back then, Spaceballs. This is my childhood. So Star Wars I watched multiple times, and I really enjoyed it. I've always enjoyed Star Wars for what it was. The remastered versions obviously are a little bit better, but back then I really watched.
You just said the remastered versions are better
with the effects. I don't like the whole confrontation still with the who shot first. I think that was dumb. I never even thought, when I watched it before they put any of the CGI stuff in, and it was like all the camera and the first of all, I did like the Muppet Yoda better than the CGI. For some reason, it just felt more real for me. Yoda felt realer for me in those moments. But the who shot first, I never cared. Han was in a position where he was going to kill that guy or he was going to get screwed. So it didn't matter who shot first. Han was going to kill him no matter what.
Still, Han shot first.
Okay, Han shot, fine. You know what? I grew up thinking he shot first. I didn't see the other guy shoot. And it's amazing. Greedo is the only character that got a name and a figure and everything else and only had a screen time of about 3 minutes. Good for them.
I don't know. I saw I went to the drive-in when I was like 2 years old to see the second Star Wars. I remember this vividly. I know a lot of people don't remember I remember like things back that far. So yeah, I've seen Star Wars a lot, and Empire Strikes Back I've seen more than any of them. So I am a big Star Wars fan, but I'm not in the communities and everything, so I don't know what the general consensus is about all that. But from what I think personally, I think that we needed the prequels to get to this point. Without the prequels, we wouldn't have the animated series, the Clone Wars and all that stuff, which invigorated the entire franchise.
And I would have never loved Darth Vader because I hated Darth Vader from Episode 4. I hated him all the way till the very last movie because he was the bad guy, and as a kid, he's the bad guy. I don't like him. You actually understood the character more through the first 3 episodes. I think you got to understand what he was going through. Obviously, he was seduced by the dark side, but in the books, which they won't follow because it's Disney, Luke was also seduced by the dark side for a time, and then his sister saves him and brings him back to the light. So I mean, but Luke did go dark in the books. Go check them out. Their books are available everywhere.
I will say this too for man, I'm getting an echo. That's weird. For Phantom Menace.
Still?
No, now it's gone. For Phantom Menace, my brother was a little kid when that came out, and that was his introduction to Star Wars, and he absolutely loved it. He had all the pod racer toys and everything. So I think it's subjective to the era that Star Wars from. For kids of that age when those came out, I think it was as huge as the originals were for us. So.
In this game, there is a code, and you can actually have the Naboo starfighter on the Death Star run.
Cool.
Because this came out around the same time as Episode 1, and the Naboo starfighter is my absolute favorite next to the X-Wing.
Nice.
So, it's just faster.
Right. So we got about 10 or 15 minutes left of the show. I'm going to go ahead and give my second code. This is Princess Leia issue 2,
I'll give mine after you then.
Yeah, keeping with the Star Wars theme there. So let's see if I can get that to focus. There we go. There we go. All right, so that's all I got. What do you got?
Two more. I'll give mine away now. One more. I'll leave the last one for the end of the show. This is Miles Morales, The Ultimate Spider-Man, issue number 12, the final issue. Here's your code, everybody. Enjoy, but I would too close. But I would recommend reading the whole series before reading the last issue. But if you've been reading it or if you stopped for a time, enjoy. Okay, I have one more book to go, and that's $20.99. So keep your eyes open. One thing I will say, since we aren't really talking convergence, but I will say I love the cover. This has to be my absolute favorite cover, and it's a book that came out this week. I would recommend everybody, if you're going to read Convergence, get the Tony S. Daniel variants. This is the Tony S. Daniel variant for issue 2. If you're a fan of the 80s, it has Superman Red and Superman Blue, not to be confused with the Electric Superman. The what if story, so to speak, was Superman was in love with Lana and Lois, and I forget the whole background, but in the end, he ended up splitting himself into two separate beings. One married Lana, one married Lois. Lois went to New Krypton, Lana stayed on Earth. They had separate kids, and the kids had the same color Superman costumes as their fathers, and everybody was happy. I'm really it's just so surreal seeing these characters, or these two Supermen, on this cover. I think Tony S. Daniel did an amazing job with the artwork from this book, though. I really, really love this. This is my favorite cover so far for the series. And actually, in the book, Superman Red shows up, not Blue. Or maybe he is. I noticed Superman Red in the panel. But I'm saving Convergence number 2 for next week's Zone 4, because we'll have time for 2 waves of Convergence books then. So,
yeah.
So let's see if there's any more comments. There was one at the very beginning that I wanted to cover.
Okay.
Kevin was talking about Star Wars again. Question, guys, what is your guys' opinions? And if he curses, I'm going to put F or D or whatever he says. What is your guys' opinion on Star Wars Expanded Universe being retconned? Because I am still pissed that the Expanded Universe is non-canon. Why? Because I love those characters like Darth Revan, Star Killer, a.k.a. Galen Marek, Kyle Katarn, Mara Jade, all those characters gone because Disney wants to say, F you, Dark Horse. We don't consider your work canon. I don't get that logic. F you, Disney. Tavia, I have to agree with... Oh, go ahead. You first, yeah.
Okay.
Because Jay said something also, and I'll say that then after.
Okay. All right. All right. My feelings on this, I know a lot of fans are ticked off at it, but it's not just the Dark Horse comics. It's also all the novels that they've just totally thrown out that have been going on for years and years and years. It does do a disservice to the fans that have invested in those properties and everything, and I get that and I agree with that, but I don't know, the way I'm looking at it is they can't take those things away. In your mind, you can still make it work and fit if you want. Those still exist. You can still go back. Yeah, all the Dark Horse Star Wars comics were fantastic for a long time, and I know a lot of people that have read a bunch of the novels as well and really enjoyed them. So, I think it's a mark against it, but at the same time, they wanted to go in their own direction and kind of expand it themselves, because otherwise they're going to have to go back and research all this, and there's tons of material, a wealth of material. To go forward with their movies and everything, and have to have everything line up, and it makes more sense in the movie part of it to just kind of go do their own thing. So I can see both sides of it, really. Actually,
what Jay said is true, because I actually did research on Dark Horse. George Lucas actually said that a lot of the stuff from Dark Horse, as well as the books, were not canon. They never were canon. They were literally just an expansion. While they did use certain elements from the books, most of the books were just what, like you just said, what they were. Books, period. A lot of the Dark Horse stuff, if not all of it, is non-canon, Tevya. The movies have their universe. Granted, there was several Star Wars ongoing series from Dark Horse, now Marvel, before when Marvel was doing a horrible job with Star Wars. All of that stuff is non-canon. canon. Even though Marvel's saying the new books now are canon, are you going to see them in the movies? No, they're not canon then. They just are putting stories where we didn't see it.
Yeah, I think the thing is, because Star Wars was effectively done in the movies, all this other material, all these comics, all from Marvel and from Dark Horse, and all the prose novels and all that stuff became canon because that was all we had. That's
exactly.
So fans of those and the writers as well probably just they were working within those constraints and building their own worlds and everything in the premise that there was nothing else coming. But when they started going back to film, then you have to accept that that's going to be completely different. It's just like with Marvel comics and the Marvel movies, they're completely different universes. They're the same characters, some of the same stories, but they have to be separate because you can't do everything in a comic or in a prose novel that you can do in a movie, and vice versa. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree, absolutely. One last comment from Tavia was it is about Superman, and Jay answered also. Why is Superman in the New 52 such a dark character? I don't get the logic because, in my opinion, I miss pre-New 52 Superman so much, and after reading Convergence, I'm so happy to see him back. Hopefully, we get him back after Convergence. In my opinion, F the New 52. Tavia, keep hoping because we're getting something even worse possibly. But anyway, I agree with Jay. There was a lawsuit. With, of course, the wonderful family, not the actual creators, the grandchildren. Is it the grandchildren or the great-grand? But anyway, they wanted money because their great-grandparents or grandparents signed the paper away. They signed Superman away to DC, but apparently the family's greedy, so they want money. And like Jay said here, they the exit plan in case of the heirs gained the 50% right to it. But because they DC kind of won the lawsuit finally and it's over, done with. It even says in the comic books now, not just created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. It says created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster under. It's got to be in this book because Superman's like on the cover and he's all over the place. So let me just see and I'll say exactly word for word what it says. But it's under the. Maybe it's the last page because usually they do that in event books. I don't know, but I'm looking for. Here we go. Yes. Superman created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster by special arrangement with the Jerry Siegel family. So that's the added text that we get now because the Siegel family lost the lawsuit. So now that the lawsuit's over, DC technically can go back to the old Superman if they want, but obviously aren't because now the Schuster family is trying to do something from what I hear. But hopefully DC's done with making any deals, and this is Superman, and that's it. So,
yeah, to their credit, I will say this, that they did establish that the pre-New 52 Superman still exists. He's on it's a different Earth and all this stuff, and so all those stories are still there. He's still that character. He's not changed. He's not morphed into this. It's a completely different character, just on a different Earth. So at least they're saying they've preserved that version of Superman for those people that loved that version of Superman.
Which is why I say, why not make? I mean, you see that the most annoyed fans of the Superman ones make a damn book. One.
I agree.
Or there used to be Man of Steel, Adventures of Action, and then just Superman. Make one. Make it Man of Steel. Superman, the Man of Steel. Pre-New 52 Superman. Once a month. Once a month. Will it hurt you that much, DC, to give us the original Superman once a month? Couldn't hurt you.
You never know what's going to happen down the line, though. I mean, they could always revisit it, just like they're doing in Convergence.
Yeah. They're doing it right now.
Yeah. So.
All right,
go ahead.
Let me give the last book because we are like literally 5 minutes away.
Yeah, we'll start wrapping up here soon.
This was an excellent book, guys. So whoever gets this, congrats, because you're gonna really love this book. Spidey 2099, issue number 11. This was an excellent book this week. I'll be following 2099 during Secret Wars because I love Peter David writing. I want to take all the issues, but I think I'd kill him, and he'd kill me if I brought every single Spidey 2099 and asked him to sign every single one. But I would because he did a spectacular job with Spidey this go, and he did it great the last time also. It's just back then, things weren't going so hot for Marvel. Now Marvel's on top because of the movies. So, shit, I'd bring everything back that was failing.
I wouldn't say that.
Not everything, but try it.
Yeah, definitely not everything. There was some crap. Yeah, but I guess we'll start wrapping up. There was no more comments. That was all.
I'm going to check right now for the last time. So you start the wrap up, and I'll check the comments.
All right. So like we said at the beginning of the show, we got a lot of stuff coming up for Zone 4. Next week, live show on the Zone 4 channel. Mike, John, Chris, and myself are going to be talking about Daredevil. We're going to be talking about Convergence, weeks 1 and 2 at least. So tune in for all that. We want to see John's reaction. We already know what his reaction is, but we want to share that on screen with you guys. So it's going to be fun. And Hit Points coming up. We're going to be talking about Star Wars Battlefront and all kinds of other news. And we got Hall of Toys next week.
One comment right now.
Sure.
Justin Paget, late, but I'm here. Happy Friday, Chris and Brent. Seeing the new Star Wars trailer, do you think Star Wars will top Avengers at the box office this year, or will Avengers reign supreme? We'll talk about that in a second. But hey, I'm glad you made it, Justin, even if it is towards the end. Yeah. Glad you made it in general, and you could always go back and watch the beginning of the show, and that's it. So I'm sorry. After that comment, that's it. That's I put the iPod down because we're rounding up. But I think that Avengers is still going to be on. No, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. It's going to be tight. It's going to be very close. Yeah. I can't tell you, Justin. It could be both the same.
The thing, if we're talking about for 2015, I think Avengers will hold it because Star Wars comes out in December.
I think that 2016 it'll be, but it is the end of the year, Brant. It still could count.
Yeah, but I'm saying Avengers is going to have more time in the theater in 2015 than Star Wars will. Right. But if you're comparing just total box office, total between the two, that's going to be close. And I'm kind of inclined to think Star Wars would take it. As big as Avengers is going to be. Yeah.
I would judge it on opening day. See which one does the best on opening day. That's the best movie of the year.
It's all right. Here's my opinion on it. Marvel movies come out every single year. Multiple Marvel movies. We were so used to them. When Avengers 1 came out, it was huge because it was the first time these characters were on screen together. It was a team up. Now we've seen these characters interact. This is the second one, and it's going to be a little bit less. It's still going to do huge numbers, no doubt, but it's not got that same mystique to it.
And they've given away so much on the trailers.
Yeah, Star Wars original cast we have not seen together in a Star Wars movie since the early 80s. This is huge, and it's going to blow. I think it's going to blow it out of the water, honestly. They're both going to be huge numbers. They're both going to be, record breakers and stuff like that, but Star Wars are going to take it, in my personal opinion.
I have to agree with you because of like you just said, the original cast after 20 somewhat years, if not more, almost 30, coming back together. It probably is 30 plus years. Yeah, I'm sorry. And everyone tweeted the Han Solo Chewie moment.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody. I have to agree with you, Brent. I think that it's going to take it because of the stars of the movie, even though they don't play a huge role. I think that the new movie for Star Wars is going to take it because we haven't seen a continuation of Star Wars since the early 80s. The prequels don't count as continuations. They count as origins.
Yeah. Now, the only thing that could take that down is if people go see the movie and they don't like it and they start talking about it. And then Avengers will take it. But I honestly think this is going to be the Star Wars movie everybody's been waiting for. But I could be wrong. Yeah. I hope I'm not. I hope I'm right. I hope we're all right, and it's fantastic. So.
Not Fantastic Four, that's for sure.
Right? No. We're not going to talk about that. But we were going to talk about some other comics, but we ran out of time. So again, tune in next week. Chris, what do you got going on?
The rest of this week, I've got 2 Convergence reviews that will be going up. God willing, I'll be recording them tonight. They'll be up tomorrow or really late tonight. That's really it for my reviews. I'll be doing my 2 review shows. Hopefully they'll be on time. I got a nice amount of things that are coming in the mail. Yeah, I know they're not, Brent. You don't have to say no. I got a nice amount of things in the mail for next week's haul, not this week. But in stock trade right now is at 45% off. So I'm actually looking into a couple of trade paperbacks. So we'll see. There's one big book I really want, but it would be splurging a nice amount of money if I did it right now. I don't know. I'll think about it. But in stock trade, it's almost irresistible. It's like tempting to just grab a couple of books at almost 50% off.
Yeah, I got it. I also have convergence reviews coming up tomorrow. I think I've got 3 for this week, so check those out. And I guess just check out lastnumberpress.com. I have updates coming up.
Oh yeah,
soon.
I'm gonna have my blog to go with my video.
Okay.
And also, I'll mention that. Thank you for reminding me, Brent. I'll probably be working on that tonight also. So mine should be up on the site soon.
Yeah.
Looks good. It's moving forward at a very nice pace.
We do all 4 have intro videos up on the Last Number Press YouTube page, or YouTube channel, which is Last Number Press.com. It was weird. We had to do it that way. It wouldn't let us take just Last Number Press. It was weird. But anyway, but you can check those out there or on lastnumberpress.com. At least mine and Lisa's are up on the website so far. So I guess that's it. Tune in for the live show on Comic Frontline next week. We'll be talking about Convergence Week 2. And anything else?
Hall of Toys Wednesday and Zone 4 Friday. And I guess I'm going to be skipping my live show next Friday again. And then the following week will be Hit Points, huge, and back to my live show. So,
yeah. Okay. All right. So I guess that's it. Thank you for everybody that watched live and everybody that's watching or listening to this via iTunes later on. We appreciate it. And we'll see you next time. So until then, I guess all that's left to say is you are now leaving Zone 4.
And don't be a fwee-fwee.
Bye, everybody.